Let us start with an opening treatment. Spirit God, thou which moves and lives in all our being, we welcome this day and this time of worship as we seek to revitalize and anew our commitments to life, to love, to peace, and to all that is good in this world. And as we do, I know it is for all of us true that we are children of Thee, that we are individualized expressions of the divine. And as such, we are called into being to be that right and perfect person that we are. And as such, we are united in spirit and love, being one with Thee. And as we proceed into this worship today, we know it will be an experience of love and peace. And we are guided in all that we say and do. And together we say, and so it is.
That was good. Well, I'm just telling the truth.
All right, so we have a musical selection by Richard. Thank you, Richard. Good morning, everyone. And let's give a big thank you now to Richard, our musician today. I am Larry Bungay, a practitioner here at the center, and am moderating the service today, in case you hadn't guessed. Today, we celebrate our coming together as we teach, demonstrate, and inspire a positive spiritual approach to living. And our motto, if it will be, there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. At this time, I'd like to call Melissa forward for the candle lighting. Well, she's not here. So, can I have someone else? Well, Morgan's gonna read, I think, so. Yeah, all right. Pat, that'd be great. We light the candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There is only one life, and that life is God's life. That life is our life now. Please affirm with me, I am life. We light a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and recognize our unity. We are points of love within the heart. Affirm with me, I am love. We light a candle for light. The light of God is the presence and the power. We are always walking in the light. We radiate the light of God wherever we are. Please affirm with me, I am light. We light a candle for beauty. We are made in the likeness and image of God. We are each whole, complete, and beautiful, just as we are.
That's
We
great.
accept the beauty of God's perfection as our perfection now. Affirm with me, I am beauty. We light the candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each one of us. We celebrate the joy of our own rebirth in the God consciousness. We each bring joy to the world. Affirm with me, I am joy. We light the candle for peace. Today and every day, we open our hearts to peace. We are each a center for peace in the world. I am peace. And finally, I invite you to take this moment to recognize your inner light that is always shining within. As we take a moment and honor our own metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you. Thank you, Pat. Now I guess it's time for announcements. Let's see. I'd like to first welcome those who are visiting our center for the first time, as well as all the rest of you, I guess, and sign our guest book in the lobby. We invite you to do that. I hope everyone will stay afterwards for a fellowship in the lobby there. We have some nice refreshments, and we have a chance to look at the bookstore, meet and greet people, and if you are not getting the weekly mailing, you may re-sign up on the booklet in the lobby there. Every Sunday we offer spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer as our gift to you. If you have a prayer request today, you can either speak to one of us after the service, or you can fill out a written prayer request form that's located in the lobby there, and put it in the treatment box, and our prayer team will do the best for treating for you for the week. Remember, it's fine to keep a request repeating itself until you see that demonstration of change. I'd like to recognize our prayer treatment teams today. We have Kate and
Dr. Manny.
and Dr. Matty, and oh yeah, me too, I guess. And now it's time to say thank you to the volunteers. This is truly a community-based spiritual center. It does take a team to keep it going, and so we want to recognize those who work behind the scenes, the volunteers and helpers who who may be not on the stage, but who are still very, very important to us. For flowers today, we have these lovely flowers from Ruth Ann. We have bookstore set up with Jim Massapos. Massapos. I'm sorry. Jim Massapos. Our greeter was Jan Green. Treats are Pat Walker. We have anonymous video recorder there. And especially we'd like to thank Jan and Angel for all the work they do in setting up and taking down, because that's really a big job. And now I guess it's time for our group reading. If you would open your programs to the group reading, which is found on the right side, a little bit more than halfway down. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance.
Yay!
And now we have a group song. Take it away, Jim.
Shall we all stand? So we thank you for this day, and that's absolutely true. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My beautiful, my beautiful, my beautiful friends. My beautiful, my beautiful, my beautiful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious health. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious health. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. My wonderful, my beautiful, my fabulous life. My wonderful, my beautiful, my fabulous life. Thank you for this day.
Thank you. Very nice. Oh, okay. I was going to say, I didn't think we were quite that far yet. So now it's time for our inspirational reading, which will be done by Morgan.
Yay, Morgan. Thank you, Morgan.
Yay!
Microphone. Grab the microphone.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Thank you, Larry. Well, when Kate sent me this reading, I said, boy, this is a thoughty one. And much room for contemplation. So I'm going to read it slowly so we can let it sink in. And maybe I'll repeat a couple of sentences as we go. So to begin, today's reading is adapted from the writings of Jack H. Holland, who was a divine science minister. The law of physics that made photography possible states, for light to be effective, it must be absorbed. This law has its counterpart in the laws governing the mind. For ideas, concepts, things to affect us, they must be absorbed. This was a good sentence for me. If we are resisting something, it means we are accepting it as a reality and are giving it validity. It is being absorbed. That was a new thought for me in just that way. If we are resisting something, it means we're accepting it as a reality, giving it validity, and we are absorbing what we're resisting. As a result, just as in photography, we are producing a faulty negative because the light, understanding, has not been pure or intense enough. The light in this case is truth. So I'll put truth in that sentence. As a result, just as in photography, we are producing a faulty negative because the light, truth, has not been pure or intense enough. The light in this case is being true. Our life is an outpicturing of what has been accepted as truth by our consciousness. And the picture, life, can be changed by refusing to resist evil or limitation and looking for a new possibility. As Emmett Fox stated, if you don't like the picture you're getting, change the reel. Or in modern speak, we would say, if you don't like the movie you're viewing, change the scene.
That's good.
Why give power to that which is bothering you? Why dwell on limitation, which you do when you resist anything, when you can dwell on creative ideas and possibilities? The greatest possible way to practice non-resistance is to know that God is always present, despite whatever may seem to be. This, of course, is what is meant by love. Love in caps. We find that all paths of freedom, understanding, and expression lead to the great commandment. Love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And so it is.
That was good. I like to hear things.
Thank you, Morgan. And now we have the pleasure of hearing Richard again with a musical selection.
Thank you, thank you. The theme for today has to do with peace. I wrote this song a while back, and I called it Inner Peace. And the idea is that inner peace comes from our connection to the infinite. What an amazing place we're in. Incredible. No need to stress over the day-to-day. I mean, we're inhabitants, we're creatures of the infinite. It goes like this. Come in peace, go in peace. Through the word, gain release. Who we are sets us free inner peace. Satisfy true desire, connecting to our inner fire. Share the word and inspire. Be in peace. Wisdom comes to us as we gain, we trust. As we give, so must we receive. Where is it written that we'll always fight? As we learn to love, we'll do what is right. Gaining poise, real concern. Shedding noise, we discern. Share the word as we learn with such ease. Come in peace, go in peace. Through the word, true release. Breathlessly guarantees inner peace. Wisdom comes to us as we gain, we trust. As we give, so must we receive. Where is it written that we'll always fight? As we learn to love, we'll do what is right. Gaining poise, real concern. Shedding the noise, we discern. Share the word as we learn with such ease. Come in peace, go in peace. Through the word, true release. Breathlessly guarantees inner peace. Destiny sets us free. Inner peace. Inner peace. Thank you. Peaceful.
That was great.
And now it's my pleasure to invite Kate to give us the morning message.
And it's my pleasure to be here. Oh, I'm having a little feedback?
Yes.
Yes. Let's try that. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. So I thought it would be just great to talk about the spiritual practice of peace on a, summer morning, peaceful summer morning. And then, of course, I thought about, well, what does peace mean? And I realized, how can you possibly cover the topic of peace in a short talk? You can't. It's such a big word. Let's just call it a big word. And so it just has so many meanings, from inner peace to world peace. I actually went and looked in the dictionary and said, what do they say peace is? I was surprised. Most of the definitions were all about what peace is not. Peace is not war. Peace is not struggle. Peace is not hostility. It's an absence of conflict. And that's not that helpful when what we want to talk about is embracing peace. We need to know what peace is. So in the dictionary it says, well, it's a state of security. That was surprising, but I guess in the world context, it is a state of security, a state of justice and goodness. But more to what I was thinking, it also said peace is a state of serenity or tranquility or calm. So I was looking for like more ideas about peace, and I actually came across a newsletter from this center that was back from when Dr. Maddie and Reverend Debbie O'Donnell were running the center, and they did that for many years as co-pastors. And at that time, they were just introducing, this newsletter was, they were just introducing the candle lighting ceremony that was based on really recognizing peace by using each candle to recognize a different religion of the world, to show how it's all about the same one thing, spirit. That's all there is. And of course, interestingly, after the pandemic and we came back together, we changed it so that we're now recognizing what we call the different aspects of spirit. And I think in this talk today, I'm going to talk more about that state of inner peace. I feel like over the past few years, a lot of us have gotten quite disconnected from each other, there's more of a feeling of separation. But anyway, in that newsletter that I found, Reverend Debbie wrote about reading an interview with Thich Nhat Hanh, in which he shared that peace has to begin with oneself, and the choices that we each make, that the act of choosing nonviolence and compassion is actually the whole foundation of a peace movement. And I love the way he put it. I think it's really true that as we become more peaceful, our world becomes more peaceful. So then, what's the next question? Of course, how do we become more peaceful? How can we make peace actually an individual spiritual practice? Well, in the Science of Mind, which is the most complete book by Ernest Holmes that explains what we teach. Is there some other microphone on? Is your microphone on? Or am I too close? Maybe Jim can turn my volume down a little bit. In the book, The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, peace is defined as a state of inner calm. An inner calm that is so complete that nothing can disturb it. The peace which comes only from the knowledge that this peace is all. A fathomless or bottomless peace is what is meant by peace of the spirit. This is the peace, he says, that Jesus was referring to when he said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you." It says the infinite is always at peace because there's nothing to disturb it. A realization of our oneness with that infinite brings us peace. The peace which is accompanied by a consciousness of power. So when I read that, wait, the peace that is accompanied by a consciousness of power? What's he talking about? Well, he's not talking about personal power. He's not talking about any power that you can think of in an ordinary sense. What he's referring to is when we have an awareness of the creative power of the universe, and to that inner calm that we will sense when we realize that the creative power of the universe is actually responsive to our thoughts, so that when we reach a state of feeling peaceful, actually the universe responds personally to us. So our metaphysical definition of peace is that it refers to our state of mind when we realize our oneness with the undivided wholeness of life. That's when we really do experience a truly peaceful state of mind. So that's kind of a description, but I think you'd agree with me that, a peace is kind of like happiness. When you experience it, you know it. You feel it. And you know, oh yeah, that is peace. We recognize it automatically when we're experiencing it, because it's a natural something. It belongs to us. And yet, sometimes it feels like that peaceful state is missing, that it's elusive and hard to find. So how can we find our peace when it feels like it's missing? When we're feeling confusion or fear or even panic, right? How can we move back into a state of peacefulness? Well, there are actually steps you can take to feel more at peace and to calm your mind. Obviously, I'm sure you know that I'm going to suggest meditation, right? Whether it means sitting in the silence, or listening to relaxing music, or going for a walk in nature, or just maybe losing yourself in a peaceful activity like drawing or journaling or any kind of pleasant craft or activity. Just allowing yourself to enter that state of flow. But you can also, no matter where you are or what you're doing, you can also feel peaceful just in a quick minute. So let's do this together now. I'm going to just invite you to relax your shoulders. Just relax your shoulders. Straighten your head. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to breathe in, hold it, and exhale. So first, let the air out. Exhale. Then slowly take a breath in, a breath in, hold it, and then exhale. Let's do it again. Slowly breathe in and hold it, and then exhale all the way. Again, just slowly breathe in, hold it just a second, and then exhale. Now when you do that, especially after you exhale, don't you feel more relaxed and calm? You can do this anytime, anywhere, and you can enhance the experience while you're doing it by silently saying to yourself, I am calm, I am at peace. You can just inhale, I am calm, exhale, I am at peace, I am calm, I am at peace. It's not a coincidence that so many meditation teachers suggest that you begin by noticing your breathing, counting breaths, or just relaxing your breath. It really works. So that's another way. How else can you feel more at peace? Well, visualization works well for me. So if I just close my eyes for a minute or two and imagine that I'm standing by the cliff overlooking the beach here, and just looking out over the ocean, I can picture that so clearly in my mind. And just thinking about that view of looking out over the ocean instantly brings a more relaxed state of mind, a more peaceful state of mind. And of course, if you have more than just a minute, if you've got an hour or half an hour, or if you're really feeling upset about something, if you really have an unpeaceful state of mind, the thing to do is to actually do that. Go to the beach, enjoy the view, go outside, sit under a tree, even sit, in a chair on a patio, and just relax. This activity can restore you back into a more peaceful state of mind. Don't allow your unwanted thoughts to keep you from being mindful and aware of the things and the people and the feelings that actually do make you feel happy and peaceful. We always say we're at choice. We are at choice. And you can even use memories, kind of like an invisible photo album, to help you regain a sense of calm. And I have to say here, because I, in the past, used to be a very backward-looking person, you need to guard against dwelling on, sad memories of the past. We need to choose what we're dwelling on, choose what we're thinking about, choose what we're getting absorbed in. That's one reason why it's so nice to just think about nature, because it is so obviously perfect, right on the face of it. So, I guess the type of memories, if you're using that type of visualization, I'd recommend would be something like seeing something beautiful for the first time. Whether it's a new baby, or whether it's going to the Grand Canyon, or maybe the first time you saw snow. All of these can just kind of bring that sense of awe. That's so helpful. So for me, I often use the same memory that it meant a lot to me when I saw it, because I had grown up here in Southern California, which I love, but I went to school in the Midwest. And so I remember my first experience of greeting the morning in a meadow. It's kind of damp and there's dew and it was a little cloudy and the birds were singing, and then suddenly the light broke through the clouds. It was very beautiful. That's a memory that I keep that. It's kind of like a wallet picture, but it's a brain picture, and I can go to it whenever I want. So what memories do you have that can actually bring an instant sense of peace to you? These memories belong to you, and you can use them, you can carry them around with you, and take a look at them whenever you want. These memories remind us that we were peaceful once, and so we can be at peace again. This state of mind, the peaceful state of mind, is really our natural state. So, make a collection of these quick visualizations that you can go to. These are really easy spiritual practices that you can do in a moment. Now, there was a New Thought leader and author and speaker. His name was Neville Goddard. And as far as I know, he wasn't directly connected with Ernest Holmes. But he was very interesting. He was born in Barbados in 1905. He immigrated to the United States. He worked in vaudeville, so I thought that was interesting, a vaudeville performer. And somehow he ended up studying with an Ethiopian rabbi who had also immigrated to the United States. And finally he became quite a well-known lecturer and teacher on New Thought subjects and metaphysics. Now, he particularly emphasized how to use our imaginations to create our everyday experiences. So we teach visualization. You should picture yourself as happy or picture yourself having abundance. He was very specific. He, for instance, he would say, picture yourself, and I'm not saying he did, but something like he would say, if you wanted to have more prosperity, picture yourself looking at your bank statement and seeing how much it showed on your bank statement, something super specific. So that's kind of how he talked about using our imaginations, very, very specifically. So in one of his talks I read called I Am the Lord, he talks about a parable of Jesus, and I wanted to share it, but I just want to clarify that when he talks about Christ, he is talking about what we here refer to as Christ consciousness. So here we go. He said, in the book of Luke, in the Bible, it tells the parable of Jesus who, upon entering a boat with his disciples, falls asleep as they set sail. Then, when a big storm descended upon the lake, the disciples woke him up, saying, Master, we are perishing. And then Jesus rebuked the wind, and the raging waves became quiet. And there was a great calm. I tell you, this is Goddard speaking, the one who fell asleep caused the storm and is the same being, the same person, the same being who, upon awakening, quells it, quiets it, for there is no other. There's only one. Neville explained it saying that in this world, in our day-to-day lives, it's as if Christ, the Christ consciousness, is asleep. And that the wars, the confusions, the depressions, and the horrors appear because of, he says or because of the dreams. And he says the world will know no peace, happiness, wealth, or joy until Christ awakes. He says, if you are unaware of your imagination, what's going on, then you are asleep relative to it. It doesn't matter whether you're dreaming wonderful dreams or nightmare dreams. You're not in control. You're not awake. So he is saying what we need to do is to awaken and to, in his case, he's saying awaken the Christ within and choose our thoughts. Choose what it is we're visualizing actively. He says, when the Christ awakens, we will know calm and well-being. Your own imagination is this Christ consciousness. And then he says, I think this is important, although it's a little tricky. He says, you are Christ's outer projection. So what you're experiencing is this outer projection of this self, this I am, this Christ consciousness. And you're surrounded by woes or happiness, just kind of unconsciously. But he says, God as your imagination can never be so far away from you as to even be near. Because if you say God is near me, you're saying God is separate from me. That's not the case. Wherever you are, God is, I am. you and God are one, for he is your wonderful human imagination. Now, Holmes, who I think is a little clearer, but he didn't have the nice story about the boat and the storm. So, but I think Ernest Holmes has something really similar. He said, God is always God. No matter what our emotional storm or what our everyday situation may be, there is always something hidden in our inner being that has never been violated, is always perfect. We may stumble, but always there is that eternal voice forever whispering within our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, our life, that thing which forever sings and sings. This is the thing itself. So Goddard says, you and God are one, for God is your wonderful imagination. And Ernest Holmes says, the mind which we discover within us is the mind which governs everything. This is the thing itself. And we should recognize its simplicity. So 2 different ways of explaining the same basic idea, that it's true. Our thoughts create our experiences. Our thoughts create our lives. And we must wake up to this and realize that we are the power, and we should not make the mistake of giving our power away to outer conditions. So this is how we find peace. We choose peace. Peace is a spiritual practice. It is the practice of constantly waking up from our old habits of thinking that the things we experience in the outer world are causing our thoughts and reactions. And waking up to the things really are, and starting to recognize it is the other way around. It is our thoughts that cause our experiences and interactions. So I say it's our thoughts. So whether they're conscious thoughts that we choose, or whether they're unconscious thoughts that are just a little bit random or habitual or something that we pick up from what's going on around us, what Goddard would call dreaming. It's still our thoughts, and we can control our thoughts. Now, I have to say, some people really don't like this idea. When they hear a new thought teacher say, oh, it's our state of consciousness that causes our experiences, it feels like too much responsibility. And their first reaction is often to start blaming ourselves for whatever is happening. Well, 2 things. First of all, we're not alone, right? We are in this together. But the other thing is, do you blame yourself for your dreams? Would you blame a child because they had a nightmare? No, it's unconscious. What we need to do is simply wake up, not blame ourselves. It's never about blame. It's always about striving to wake up and realize that we are able to make conscious choices. And of course, when we don't, we will live by the results of our unconscious choices. And even then, as we respond to things going on around us, we are at choice once again, and how we react to that. You know, as far as I can see, the one thing, well, not the one thing, one of the things we all have in common is that we all have our own issues, and they keep coming up, and we're constantly dealing with them, and some of them can really be disturbing now or in the past. I know, you know, it could be poverty, illness, violence, loss, you know, even war. And I think it's important for us to recognize that this stuff goes on. And although I am personally a great fond of taking the Pollyanna glad, you know, playing the Pollyanna glad game and always trying to see the silver lining, the bright side of things, I don't think we should be blind or foolish. You know, the story of the boat is that Jesus woke up and saw the storm, and then the storm was calm. So staying calm, having a peaceful state of mind, doesn't mean that you're going to be like a doormat. It doesn't mean that you're going to just submit to what's happening or say la vie, it doesn't matter. We want to wake up and calm these storms and have a life that is peaceful, a life that we choose. Ernest Holmes said there's nothing in the universal order that denies an individual's good. Nothing denies our right to self-expression, so long as such self-expression doesn't hurt anyone else, contradict the general good. He says the universe remains unlimited. No matter what's going on in our everyday world, there is still, behind it all, unlimited good. We don't actually have to be, this is the hard thing, we don't have to be perfect to be perfect. We don't have to actually have enough to begin to recognize that there is enough for us. We don't have to be experiencing abundance at this very moment to understand that there is abundance for us and to begin to open up a pathway, to begin to wake up to allowing that abundance to show up in our lives. We are enough. And when we attain this state of calm, of equanimity or peacefulness, what happens is that we begin to radiate that peace wherever we go and to everyone that we know. Peace is a spiritual practice, and it does bless the world. It blesses our lives. It blesses the life of the world, and you know, understanding this allows us to enter a calm and peaceful state of mind without any regret or any hesitation or any thoughts about how can I be peaceful when such and such is happening. No matter what is happening, we can go through it in a state of calm. And when we have that, we have clarity of mind and the ability to make decisions with loving kindness and with wisdom and with calmness. So that is what I think of when I think about using peace as a spiritual practice and really giving peace a chance. So, thank you.
So you're going to play the piano? You're really good. You're excellent.
This song that I've chosen just fits perfectly into what Kay was just saying. By John Lennon, it's called Imagine. What can we imagine? And so much is up to us. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religiosity too. people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man, of all of us. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Just imagine that.
That was really beautiful. Thank you. The music has been so perfect today. Really nice. Really nice. So, it's interesting because when you think about peace, you get so calm. It makes you feel a little sleepy, and yet I am at the same time saying, wake up, wake up, wake up to be peaceful. So it's a little bit funny, but that is so, that was, I felt like I could float away on that song. It was great. So this is our time to make our offering to support this center, which I hope that you feel has brought some benefit to your life today or over time. I know that it's been a blessing for me. And so let's just know together that this Center for Spiritual Living Carlsbad, is an idea in the mind of spirit itself that flourishes and grows and spreads the truth that there is good for us, that we ought to have it, that we can live a life that is full of understanding, full of beauty, love, light, abundance, wonderful, wonderful good unfolding. And that as we give back to our center and support it, we are also receiving more and more. And this good flows out into the world. I know it's the truth. I accept it as so, and invite you to join with me in saying, and so it is. Thank you. So in your program, you're going to lead us with a song.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you everyone. Well, I want to just announce that we finally do have Science of Mind magazines available in the bookstore today if you'd like to pick one up for August. And what's the other thing I wanted to announce? Oh, some of you may not know that Reverend Maureen and Practitioner Robert are off in Mexico this Sunday and next Sunday. So if you're wondering where they are, they're at the Centers for Spiritual Living Convention of the Americas. So that's something fun that we're all excited for them that they got to do that. So we're going to have fellowship, and I invite everyone to stay. And then before that, I'm going to give a closing treatment, and then we'll stand, and Richard will lead us in the song on the back of the program. So let's just know together. I just invite you to know with me the truth that there really is a power for good. It is the thing itself. It is only good. And that anything that doesn't seem like good in our lives is not the truth. The truth is that each one of us is an individualization of this good, this truth, this spirit, this power, this oneness, this love. And since this is so, since we are a center of good in an infinite universe of good, as a center of good, each of us has a right to claim, to think, and to set in motion new thoughts, beautiful thoughts, thoughts of love, thoughts of compassion, thoughts of peace, thoughts of wellness, thoughts of abundance, thoughts of creativity, thoughts of joy, thoughts of friendship, thoughts that lead us into pathways of good, of peace, that allow us to be receptive to wonderful relationships, to increase good, increase health in all areas of our life. And know that as we accept these gifts, it only makes us more and more able to share these gifts, for we're part of the great circulation of life, and it is good, and we are one with it. And there is so much more to be experienced, to be thought, to be enjoyed. And as we enjoy life, as we allow this joy in life to bubble up through our consciousness and out into everything that we experience, out into every relationship, this joy that we are experiencing is the way that Spirit itself experiences joy. Joy is a wonderful, wonderful illustration of the good that comes to us when we are at peace, when we are thinking clearly, and when we are allowing ourselves to be one with this beautiful life. This is the way it is. I give thanks that it is so. I turn it over to Spirit. I invite you to join with me in declaring, and so it is. Thank you.